You're listening to the Joe and Rosa Show, proclaiming the gospel through word and through song.
Hi, and welcome to the Joe and Rosa Show. I'm Joe Hopkins. This week we're playing for you an interview that Rosa conducted with Ebony Canion, author of the book Left for Dead.
And today on the Joe and Rosa Show, we have writer and speaker Ebony Canion. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, thanks so much for having me. I'm excited.
Thank you. I am too. And so it's your story. I'm not going to say it for you. And can you just tell our listeners what your testimony is?
I've been through a lot in my life. I have quite a testimony. Actually, at the age of 9, I was molested. At the age of 14, I was raped. At the age of 22, I actually lost my husband at a young age. I actually had 2 children by him, and I was pregnant at the time he passed, but I didn't know, nor did he know. I actually found out I was pregnant maybe about a week after the funeral. But little did I know the strength that I had and, that I gained throughout the years to get through those situations. I didn't know that I would need that strength to get through a situation that happened in June 2012. The situation that I'm talking about is actually, I was run over by a car. I was actually hit on purpose by a female, and I was run over, and I was left for dead. My birthday is actually July 3rd, and it was a weekend before my birthday, and we decided to go out. This is when I was, I was a little wild. I backslid back then, but we decided to go out and have a little fun. And we got home maybe about 2 o'clock in the morning. We got to my sister's house, and there was a car in the driveway, and we weren't expecting anybody at the time. We blew the horn, and, we asked the car to get out of the driveway, but the car actually refused to get out of my sister's driveway. So my grandmother just so happened to live a couple of doors down where my sister lived, so we ended up going down there and parking in the drivay. We proceeded to walk down the street, to go see who's in the driveway. Now, mind you, I didn't even want to go out this night, but my daughter insisted, go out and have a little fun, so I went out. But as we walked down the street, something inside of me said, this is exactly why, you didn't want to go out tonight, Ebony. But once we got down to the driveway, we realized there was actually 5 females in the car. And once my sister got to the car, she realized that she knew one of the females she had actually gotten into an altercation with her prior to this night. Right then and there, I knew, this is not going to be good at all. But words were exchanged. Naturally, my sister, she's upset because it's 2 o'clock in the morning and somebody, in your driveway refusing to leave. So they actually ended up leaving the driveway, but they didn't, leave the street or whatever. They actually ended up backing across the street to a driveway directly across the street where my sister lives. They proceeded to get out the car. Words were exchanged again. In the midst of, I'm telling everybody, my birthday is Monday. I'm getting ready to be 35 years old. It's just not worth it. My children are at home. And, trying to defuse the situation. But one of the females decided, she wanted to fight. And she actually ended up hitting me. And I did defend myself. And a fight broke out between the females that was in the car and my sister and my cousin. And my nephew came out of the house and, broke the fight up. We're thinking everything, it's over with. And they get in their car, and I'm standing directly across the street where the car is parked at. And I see the headlights come on, and I hear the engine roar. I'm thinking they're leaving. They had the option of going either left or right, and they ended up coming and hitting me directly head on. And they drug me. My body was up under the car. At this point, my family has told me what happened, because I don't remember anything, thank God. But they ended up dragging me almost 200 feet with my body folded up under the car. And once they turned the corner, I was left for dead. My body came from up under the car, and I was left for dead. I ended up being in the hospital for 4 months. I was in a coma for almost 2 months. I wasn't expected to live. When I first woke up out of the coma, I was actually paralyzed from the neck down. Just to give you guys an idea how far I came, I actually had 7 broken ribs, collapsed lung, dislocated spine, broken pelvis, broken leg. My tongue was nearly severed, 4 missing teeth. My back was completely scraped off due to being dragged by the car, so I needed a skin graft for that. I had a small amount of blood on my brain, but God made sure I was still able to speak and still able to tell my testimony. The doctors, they were counting me out. They were telling my family the words, she does survive. And, she may not walk again, things like that. But by the grace of God, I did get my feeling back. I'm not able to fully feel my feet at this time, but I am walking with the aid of a cane and leg braces. And like I said, God made sure I still had this voice to be able to tell the world, how good he is and what he's brought me through.
Wow. Now, did you know Jesus prior to this incident?
I said I knew him, but I didn't know him the way I know him now.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, I was backsliding then, you know, just doing crazy things. But, you know, after this, I completely turned my life over to him and, you know, just want to give him the glory for my story.
Yeah. What's the most amazing thing, or what did you learn about him through going through this ordeal?
I learned that he's more amazing than I ever thought he was. You know, I learned that he'll never leave you. I learned that he, you know, that he's always by your side. You know, on the good days, on the bad days, he's there. And I learned of his healing power. You know, I kind of counted myself out also. You know, never thought I would walk again, and I kind of counted myself out. But, you know, my family told me they prayed over me, and I prayed for myself, and, you know, here I am. So his healing power is just amazing. His ability to bring you through absolutely anything is just amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. After all of that, and I've seen some of the photographs and have seen the scarring. You'd mentioned that you had to have your tongue reattached, correct? And that all of these different things.
Did.
I can't imagine that. And the fact is that I mean, if they're telling your family basically to prepare that this is not good, which after everything you're saying, no, it wouldn't sound like it was good. What has God been doing with that since, I mean, that if it could have been avoided, I'm sure you would have wanted to avoid it, but since it did happen, what has God done with this whole thing?
Well, he's given me an amazing platform, you know, to tell the world, you know, about what he's done for me. When I was in a coma, I remember, you know, telling God, you know, if you send me back to my children, then I'll send people to you. And that's, you know, just exactly what I've been doing. I actually started an Instagram page, survival_story, and I started off with maybe about 300 people, and it's grown to like 85,000 people who have witnessed, you know, what God is doing in my life, because I document my journey from me being in the hospital up until now. So over 85,000 people have actually witnessed, you know, what he's doing for me. So he's given me an amazing platform. I've been able to write a book called Left for Dead, and I've been telling my story around the country.
Wow, that is absolutely amazing. How have you seen this resonate with the people that you've been privileged to speak with?
Well, it's so amazing because so many people, you know, they tell me that if I ever thought there wasn't a God, I know it's one now. You know, people are telling me, you know, I doubted him for a minute, and people are telling me I did believe in him, and, you know, I stopped, and now I know he's real, and people, they didn't believe in him, now they do, you know, so it's just amazing to see the response of so many people, even as far as people, you know, insecure within themselves. They've seen me, you know, grab my self-esteem and, you know, and love myself, so people have been able to, you know, to learn to love themselves also. So it's been an amazing journey just watching people, you know, flock to him because of the things that he's done in my life.
Yeah, something else that is apparent just from speaking to you is I think most people would harbor bitterness, resentment, anger towards the people that that committed this towards you, and you sound like you radiate joy. I really don't hear any of that. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, the female who ran me over, she actually. She ended up getting 5 years probation. I remember the day that we were in court and they gave us a sentence, and I began to cry. I was actually in a wheelchair at the time, and I began to cry. And my oldest son, he looked down at me. He said, "Mom, don't we know God?" And from that point on, I forgave her. I never cried about the situation again. I used all my bitterness and anger, and I used it to walk again. You know, so I have forgiven her, and I pray for her. I actually pray for her. I pray that she finds the same God that I know that saved my life that night.
Wow. Yeah, see, that's just stuff that you don't really hear about out there. You know, so many people get offended over the slightest thing if somebody has insulted or wounded them. And here is this massive thing where this person tried to kill you, and God has shown you that you're actually able to intercede for her and to do that as a ministry. And that's just absolutely amazing. Would you be able to tell our listeners where they can find you online, what your book is called, and where they can find that as well?
My book is titled Left for Dead. You can purchase a signed copy of my book at www.thesurvivalstory, that's SURVIVAL, thesurvivalstory.org. And you can also follow me on social media on Instagram and Twitter at survival_story. That's SURVIVAL_story. And like I said, I document my whole recovery on social media, and I also give out daily inspiration just to motivate people who may be on the verge of giving up that day. I try to, uplift as many people as I can.
Absolutely. So if somebody were listening to the show and they are facing a mountain, they're facing something that just absolutely seems impossible, what would you say to that person?
I would say don't give up. We all fall down. We all fall down. We all go through all types of things in life. But it's actually not what you go through, it's how you deal with it. And the thing is while you're dealing with it, you're not alone. Call on God. He's there for you. He'll never, ever leave you. He's there. Even when it seems like he's not there, he's there. Trust and believe that. And I would also say, if I can make it, so can you. I've been through so much, and that's another reason why I decided to share my story, just to tell people, if I can make it, so can you. And if he did it for me, he will do it for you. All you have to do is ask.
Mm-hmm. That's absolutely powerful. And so it seems also like God has used this opportunity that he has used this trial as an opportunity for growth as well. Would you say that has been the case?
Absolutely. I'm such a changed person. So many things that I took for granted prior to being run over. I appreciate every single thing in life. I know that everything is a blessing. Anything that you can do, anything that you have is, totally a blessing. I've grown so much from this spiritually, mentally, everything. I just appreciate life so much. I'm a totally different person. I have a different set of eyes. I see things differently. I hear things differently. Everything is just totally different, and I'm enjoying the person that God has created me to be. It's not that he's not done with me yet, but I'm enjoying the process and the journey.
Absolutely, and I believe that it's absolutely true that God has everybody here for a reason. And it was obvious that your time was not through yet. He had a purpose that he wanted to work in you and through you. And lastly, I would ask you this: if there's somebody in our listening audience that is out there today that is harboring unforgiveness, hatred, animosity towards somebody who's wounded them, perhaps somebody that has wounded them even decades ago, you've been through this harrowing ordeal. What would you say to that person?
Well, forgiveness is definitely a process. It doesn't come overnight. It's a process. You have to, pray for, a clean heart and an open heart. We're forgiven, all the time for things that we do. So who are we not to forgive someone who has done something to us, And then also forgiveness isn't even really necessarily for the other person. It's for yourself. It lifts a load off of you. You begin to live life, totally different. It's like a burden taken off of you. Because while you're holding on to the bitterness that person has going on with their life, they're probably not even thinking about the things that they've done to you. While you're sitting at home, with this open wound and pouring salt on it day by day by not forgiving. So I would say, forgive, pray and ask for the willingness to do so. And I'm telling you, you'll be a better person. Your life will be totally changed once you just forgive someone and continue to live.
Absolutely. I am very inspired by your story, inspired about all the things that God has obviously done for you and for this purpose that you would tell others about him is absolutely beautiful. And I know that it's inspired our listeners here in the Richmond, Virginia area as well. I thank you so much, Ebony Canion, for being on the Joe and Rosa show today.
Thank you so much for having me. God bless.